Hey guys, welcome back to the Final Whistle podcast. Nate, it's been a while since we did an episode together.
Yeah, it's been some time. A lot of things have happened since we talked. I kind of did a little thing about Iowa State football, just kind of a solo one. Touched a little bit on basketball, but mainly about football because that's, when the main amount of players were leaving Iowa State. And since we've talked, a good amount of players have come into Iowa State. So we'll talk about some of that stuff today, but yeah, it's been a while. What's been going on with you, Joe?
Just busy holidays. It's been very busy. Finally got some downtime, and just was able to notify you. And now we got something going today.
Yeah. What was your? Did you get all the presents you wanted for Christmas?
Pretty close. Yeah, I got some cool stuff. I got a nice big cast iron pot I can cook outside with because the fiance doesn't like when I fry stuff inside, so I get to do that outside though now.
There you go.
How about you?
Yeah, I got some cool merch. I guess Iowa State stuff for the podcast room, and so I got some cool like light up signs and a few clocks and just some various cool stuff like that, and yeah, it'll all be put to good use and everything. But since the last time we've been on, we have been working on some stuff in the background with this podcast, trying to figure out ways to, move this thing forward in kind of new ways, some various ways, stuff like that. So
improvements, yeah.
We do have some stuff going on. We're thinking about doing a live at some point.
We are.
And we'll see whatever comes of that, if that ever gets put together. If it does, we'll let you guys know when that's going to happen. And trying to get, maybe a few guests on the pod. We've been working on that. And some, maybe a few guests that you guys would really, enjoy to listen to and get some things out of. So we have been thinking about this pod. We have been doing stuff in the background of this pod. It's just been a while since me and Joe have been able to get together and actually, do AirPod, and get it out there.
Yeah, we're just trying to grow it, and it's been hard because, we haven't been able to do a regular scheduled pod for a while until now. So we're just getting stuff sorted out. Potentially a new logo coming too, so that's exciting. My fiance is going to be designing that, so that's really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So, some new things hopefully to look forward to in the Final Whistle podcast, looking for ways to improve and stuff like that. So, Joe, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
We do.
I think, a lot of things going on as of now when we're doing this, and let's kind of we're going to have kind of a starting point, and this is where we're going to start. We're going to start talking about some Iowa State football, just to kind of fill people in, that maybe don't keep up with this day to day and stuff like that. So where we're at right now is the portal will close, I think, on the 15th, and that'll be, the end of the transfer portal for the season. And I would like to say that Iowa State's done very well in the transfer portal. Like I said, the last time we talked was when all the players were leaving, weren't seeing really anything come in yet. Now we've seen a lot of the guys that are coming in. I think most of everybody that has left, that is going to leave, has left at this point. And Iowa State got some really good pickups, we think, throughout the transfer portal. But at the end of the day, if anybody, tells you that these guys are going to be really good or these guys are going to be really bad, that's a lie, because they don't know any more than anyone else does. I mean, there's teams out there that flip 40, 45 players every year, and they can end up like Indiana did, or they can end up like Florida State and Oklahoma State, and you see how well those things go. They go really bad. So I think, our hope is that Iowa State, is maybe at least a bowl team next year, can get to a bowl game. Jimmy Rogers went in last year to Washington State and did this exact same thing for Washington State, had to overhaul that whole roster and bring in a bunch of guys, and he got those guys to 6-6, got them to a bowl game, and they were ranked number 19th in the country in defense. So, And that's one thing that I think this team will have. I think that will be their identity, is going to be defense. These guys are going to be defense driven. He's kind of that kind of coach. And he's brought in some really good coaches on the defensive side of the ball to, match that, what he's trying to do and to get this defense to where he wants it. So I do think now in January, I do think that Iowa State will be, a good defensive team next year. Offense, not really sure. Bringing in some new quarterbacks. One of them is going to stay. Connor Moberly is going to stay. He is the lone Iowa State quarterback that is going to. You bring in a guy like Jalen Rayner. He's really good, really, highly touted coming out of Arkansas State. Iowa State actually played against him the last 2 seasons, and this last year he gave Iowa State a lot of problems.
He did.
And so the main thing with him is maybe he's not the 4-star transfer quarterback, which Iowa State probably isn't going to get anyway. But he's a guy that brings you a lot of experience. He's a guy who's played a lot of football. He's got a lot of snaps under his belt, and is just a guy that knows what to do with the football. And I think that's a guy that we need just as much as talent right now, is going to be a guy who, in those third down situations, in clock management situations, is a guy out there on the field that knows how to play football and knows how to manage the game a little bit. And, maybe he's not the most talented guy in the world, which he is pretty talented. I mean, he is a very talented player as well, but he's got experience on his side. He's a quarterback that likes to run with the ball. And we've also heard that he's a very good, teammate. He's a very good, leader in that locker room, which is what Iowa State really needs at this point, because you lose everybody, and now you're looking, who's going to take charge.
Yeah. And
who is that person?
And you're bringing in a lot of these guys from different schools, different programs, and you need kind of someone to kind of be the glue and just kind of get them all rallied, get them all together, and set them on the right path.
Yeah, and so I think he's going to be a good fit in those terms for Iowa State. Now, I would say that you can probably say that he's going to be the starter, but Connor Moberly, I think, will have a shot. I mean, he's going to have an opportunity to take that, jump as well. I think it's going to be between those two guys to do that, and, we'll see what happens with all of that. And on the defensive side, we brought in a guy, really a bunch of guys, but, one that is going to stand out on the defensive side is going to be Braden Owles. He's a transfer from Toledo, really highly touted transfer. And I guess the thing is don't look at, what school these guys are coming from. Look at what other schools offered them. Look at what schools were interested in them. And the Braden Owles, if it tells you anything, he committed Iowa State over Indiana. And he actually went and visited Indiana before he visited Iowa State, and chose to come to Iowa State over Indiana. He's a safety. He's really good. He was being recruited by a lot of Indiana's going to play for a national championship. And he was, really scouted by a lot of those guys, a lot of those big teams out there. So I guess look at more of that than where are they coming from. A lot of these schools that these guys are coming from, you're not ever going to hear about. We got a tight end yesterday, I think, from Hampton. And, you'll never hear about that. But look at where they were offered to go, And so I think that that's a good point, in when you're watching this transfer portal stuff. And, it sucks. We lost all those guys to Penn State. I mean, they pretty much took Iowa State's whole starting roster over there.
Yeah.
And, that hurts. We feel that. But on the receiving side of that, too, is we pretty much did the same thing to Washington State. I mean, Washington State's whole defense came to Iowa State. I mean, basically, anybody they really had on defense followed, over to Iowa State. A few offensive players here and there, but mainly defensive guys that we pulled from Washington State. So, this affects everybody. We're not the only ones that feel this way. And, all those guys went to Penn State. I wish them luck there. I hope they do well. I know one of those guys personally, and so I hope that, they do good things out there. I still think that whatever they do, we can claim. I think if they make it to the playoffs, we can claim that as, the Penn State Cyclones.
Yeah, essentially it is just a second team.
Yeah.
Just for this year, though,
Yeah, we have double the odds.
Yeah, double the odds
this year to make the playoffs.
If they win a national championship, there'll be a little asterisk with Iowa State.
There should be a little Iowa State logo next to it.
Yeah, just a
it should say
one.
Penn State, but the logo should be the Iowa State logo.
Yeah. Just goes credit to the school, but also to Iowa State because that's where originally all those guys were from. All right, so
yeah, and so I mean, it does. It's not the most fun thing in the world, but it will be fun to see all these new guys come in and see what they can do, what they can put together, what these coaches can put together. We keep a guy like Kyle Conrarty. I think that's really big, a lot bigger than what people are making it. Because if we get in some of these games in the Big 12 next year, you're really at any point, and we can't put a lot of points on the board, well, we know we got to get the ball to about the 40-yard line, and we can hopefully kick field goals.
And he's, from last year to this year, he improved quite a bit. And I
battled injuries this year.
Yeah, he did. But when he came back, he made an immediate impact.
Yeah.
And that helped us win some games.
And it is rumored that he had some pretty, big-time offers out there for schools. I would imagine Penn State was probably one of those to go and be a kicker. I would imagine Matt Campbell would have loved for him to, follow him into Penn State and have one of the best kickers in the country on his team. But he decided to stay here at Iowa State. And so that's a good thing for Iowa State. And, having just a weapon like that guy, he doesn't play offense, he doesn't play defense, but, man, when you need a kick to win a game or a kick just to even stay in a game, that's a guy who you want on the field wearing your helmet.
Absolutely.
And so that'll be really good, too. Special teams, I think, is going to be, pretty good all around. Aiden Flora decides to stay as well, the returner, so... And now we have special teams coaches. That was one thing Matt Campbell never did. Matt Campbell never believed in having special teams coaches. We now have 3. So I think, coaching those guys a little bit, and I think we have a chance to be pretty good on special teams just alone. So
I think so. And this is Jimmy Rogers' first year with us, hopefully first of many. And I like how he's been making so many moves. Obviously, I knew he'd have a team by next year, but I think he's gotten a lot of quality guys to come so far, and I'm excited to see how he puts it all together.
Right. And there is some guys, that we would think that, wouldn't even really be interested. We got an offensive lineman out of Auburn who started as a redshirt freshman every game this year for Auburn, and he was a 5-star coming out of high school, really highly, recruited player that Auburn got. And we hire Jimmy Rodgers hires Auburn's offensive line coach to be Iowa State's offensive line coach, and he follows him. We don't know a lot about that guy, and we'd be wrong to say that we do know a lot about that guy, but from everything we've heard, he's really good.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of a guy who can be a staple on an offensive line at a place like Iowa State. And then, we get a transfer from Oklahoma. And he started for Oklahoma. He'll have 1 year of eligibility, but he started for Oklahoma earlier on this year. And then, but his whole career has just kind of been riddled by injuries. He was injured out for the rest of the season this year, but he was a starter at Oklahoma, which is a good thing. You have to be a pretty good player to start at Oklahoma. We know that. So hopefully he can stay away from the injuries and stuff like that. I get that that's a big, what if, but it's a what if that Rodgers and his staff are willing to take.
Yeah.
And if they're willing to take it, then us as fans should be willing to take, those chances too.
I agree.
So that's just kind of everything with some Iowa State, transfer stuff. And, we'll learn more as the year goes on. And one thing that Matt Campbell did at Iowa State is he basically killed spring football. And I think he would be happy with anybody that says that. He absolutely hated spring football. He got rid of spring practice. He doesn't believe in spring football. He would never say anything, would never report anything in the spring. Everything was so behind closed doors. So we'll see how Jimmy Rogers handles that. Maybe we'll get a spring game back again. Maybe, we'll know more in the spring. I would think with his first year being here, we will know some more stuff as the spring goes on. So I think we'll know more about this team in the future. But, at the end of the day, we're not really going to know anything about this team until they start playing football.
Yeah.
And we really won't know a lot about Jimmy Rogers till they start playing football.
Exactly. I'm just excited for, I know college football season has got the championship left, but I'm excited for next year already.
Yeah, and we don't know a lot about Jimmy Rogers other than, we can see what he's done in the past. Obviously he did very well at South Dakota State. And then his first year at Washington State, he goes 6-6, and he has to overhaul the whole roster. Mm-hmm. And I think Iowa State fans right now, if you would tell an Iowa State fan, hey, you guys will be 6-6 next year and going to a bowl game, I think we would say, sign me up.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I think, we'll see where this thing goes. But, with the history he's had and stuff like that, I think we have good opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nate, actually, you got to meet Jimmy Rogers over the weekend.
I did get to meet Jimmy Rogers. Joe and I were at the Iowa State basketball game on Saturday, the Oklahoma State game. And I told Joe I was going to go down and get a hot dog. I was extremely hungry. I don't eat at the games. Like, I'm not a concession stand type of guy, but I needed something.
Something was telling you need a hot dog.
Yeah, I went and got a hot dog, and the hot dog was lovely. And
that's good. Ketchup and mustard?
Yeah, ketchup and mustard. And I was, peacefully eating my hot dog. And I heard a bunch of, clapping and stuff and a bunch of cheering during halftime in the, on the court. So I, popped my head back in and see what was going on. And they were honoring an old basketball team that used to play for Iowa State from, the 80s, I think it was. And I was just going to peek my head in, and standing in front of me, or off to my side, was Jimmy Rogers, and he was shaking a bunch of people's hands, and so I got to shake Jimmy Rogers' hands, or I got to shake his hand, and so yeah, that was kind of cool, and yeah, Joe, you missed out. You should have gotten a hot dog.
I regret not going to get a hot dog.
Next time, just get a hot dog.
Yeah, just next time I just need to follow you.
Yeah, just get a hot dog.
I should have just went and got a hot dog, even if I wasn't hungry. I should have just went and got one.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. You gotta shake hands with him.
Yeah, I got to shake his hand, and I don't think I said anything when I met him. I didn't really. I mean, what do you say? And he shook my hand and said, "Go Cyclones." So I'll take it.
Yeah.
But it is cool to see that he's at the basketball games and stuff. He's out and about. Trying to
supporting the other sports, supporting other athletics.
And it did look like he was with some recruits there too. So I guess you can't take him to a football game to get him to come to your school right now. So and I'm sure he wants them to see what the fans are like. How dedicated these fans are and stuff like that. So Hilton's a good place to bring him to. And not exactly like the football games, but Hilton's a pretty good place too. So I'm sure he's trying to impress some recruits with bringing them to Hilton, and it's good for him to be out and about and support the other sports as well. And him and TJ are friends.
Yeah.
So a lot of people forget about that. Him and TJ are buddies, and he was the head football coach at South Dakota State when TJ was the head coach for men's basketball at South Dakota State. So they kind of have some ties. They go back. So I'm sure he likes to watch TJ as well. So that's kind of all I have for the Iowa State football transfer portal news right now. Like I said, hopefully we'll have more details as the year comes. So I guess we'll kind of go from here. Some Iowa State basketball. We've looked really good. I don't know if I should say we've looked really good. We've been playing. I don't even know if I could say we're playing really good. Problem is we haven't had to play good since the Iowa game. We haven't had to look good since the Iowa game. You know what I mean? We're playing all these teams that, we're down 6 points, and it's it doesn't matter. These guys are going to go on a 15-0 run, and they're going to figure it out, and they're going to win the game by 10.
Yeah.
At the end, it doesn't, the start of these games, it sounds stupid, but they're kind of boring at the start of these games because you're this doesn't matter. We're going to win. But that's going to change today. We're going to go to Kansas. I know Kansas isn't ranked, but anybody that knows Kansas or anything about the Iowa State-Kansas rivalry, and more so Kansas, is you just don't go into fog and get a win down there. I mean, that just doesn't happen. You have to play really good. Iowa State's 0-7 in their last 7 trips to Lawrence. And the last time that Iowa State went to Lawrence and Kansas was not ranked, the first time ever Kansas fell out of the AP poll for 13 years. And 13 years was 2020. and Iowa State went into Kansas and we gave up 97 points. We got beat like 97-64. So
Yeah.
this team, not saying this team is going to do that. They certainly better not. I hope not. I don't think anybody. I would like to challenge anybody to try to score 97 points on this team. So I guess it's a scary spot because we're ranked number 2 in the country, and you're in the first game we have to go to Kansas.
Yeah, it's very, very nerve-wracking. I think if any team could do it, it's this team. I think we have the talent and the ability to. It's just whether or not it's just who's more hungry for it, right?
Yeah,
And that Kansas
is
environment,
going to be hungry.
Yeah, they're hungry.
They need this win.
Exactly.
If they don't win this, they're going to be 1-3 in the Big 12. They're already not ranked. Like they have to have this win. And what a better way to bring your season back by beating the number 2 team in the country.
Yeah, they just lost to West Virginia.
Yep.
In which a lot of people thought Kansas was going to win that game.
And they were up like 10.
They were up 10.
And they lost
West Virginia. We were watching that game.
Yeah.
And it was a heartbreaker.
Yeah, and they lost at UCF.
They did.
They should be 0-3. TCU went in there and they took TCU into overtime, but TCU just totally unraveled and let that thing go at the end. And but they gave up 100 points to TCU. And the one thing I've heard about Kansas though is that they're a pretty good defensive team, but they're just not great at scoring this year. They've got one really good scorer, and that's Darren Peterson. He's probably going to be, top 5 pick this year in the NBA draft. And that's the guy you really got to watch for, especially in a game like, tonight's going to be, just because that guy can get 30 like that. I mean, he can get 30 really fast. And without you even really noticing that he's got 30, he'll get it.
I'll be interested to see the defensive scheme we put up for him.
I think Torrey is going to get the nod.
If we shut him down, it's going to be a rough one for him. Then I think we have a real shot. If Torrey can shut him down, they're both freshmen. It's going to be head to head. I'm interested to see that.
Yeah.
Torrey's an amazing defender, and Darren Peterson's a hell of a scorer. So
exactly, it should be really entertaining.
It should be. Watching the Oklahoma State game that we were at, it was the first time I ever saw Torrey struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the guy's last name was Clark or something like that. Clary. And he was fast, shifty, and Torrey just...
He wasn't necessarily scoring on Torrey.
No, he was just getting past him
just staying on him.
Yeah. Torrey would recover, but it was just something...
Sometimes it was too late.
Second half, he did a lot better.
Yeah.
He made some adjustments and was able to do that, but that was the first time I ever saw Torrey kind of... I wouldn't say struggle, but he just had a little bit tougher of a time.
More struggle on the defensive side.
More struggle on the defensive side.
Because we've seen him struggle now in the last, 4 or 5 games. We've seen him struggle just all around. He's starting to look more like a freshman, in which you're going to have that. And I think part of the reason is that these teams are starting to scout him. These guys are going to start scouting him. You're going up against, the best coaches in the league in the Big 12. These guys are going to have game plans for him. That's going to be a thing tonight. Bill Self's going to have a game plan for Torrey. And so I think you're starting to see some of that. You're starting to see him look like a freshman. And but, that's expected. But tonight, it sounds like I would think he's probably going to get the nod against Peterson. And, if I'm TJ, you tell Torrey, but what better way to put your name out there than if you shut this guy down? Than if you don't let this guy score.
You shut down their top scorer, their top 5 NBA draft pick.
In which you're not going to not let that guy score,
no,
but if you can hold him to under, let's say, 15 points.
Yeah.
Because he's going to score.
Yeah.
That's a given.
He's talented.
Have you seen the threes that guy makes? Like, it doesn't... You could have a hand
Insane
covering
shot.
His eyes, and it does not matter. He's going to make it.
He's an incredible
And that's going to happen
scorer.
a few times tonight, and there's nothing we can do about it. The thing is with Kansas is you got to take away his other 4 guys. If you try to make him win by himself, he's not going to win the game. All right? Take away his other guys. The other guys are okay. They've got a few, decent players, but not really anything that are great shooters. But this is where Iowa State gets in trouble. You let him get on a run. You let him, hit back-to-back threes. And then, you're hitting Badunga for a dunk, or one of those other guys hits a three. And now all of a sudden they're on a 12-0 run, or a 10-0 run, and the students and the whole place is going crazy. You let Fog Allen get into it. That's where this Iowa State team starts to get in trouble tonight. You cannot let that happen. You cannot let them get on a run where you start getting the crowd into it. And really this season, I mean, Allen Fieldhouse has been, kind of like a morgue. I mean, they haven't been able to really get into it. They got beat at home by UConn. Most of that TCU game, they were not into it, And the other games have just been, lollipop games, So, like, really, they haven't had the opportunity to get into it this year. Let's keep that going. Yeah. Let's keep that crowd out of the game. Because that crowd, just like Hilton, they're not watching the game. If you allow them to, they're not just watching the game. They can be a part of the game. Mm-hmm. And that's not a place that you want to be in for Iowa State. The one thing that gives me confidence with this Iowa State team is we have a lot of experience.
We do.
A lot of experience on this team. It's not just Torrey out there. You're going to have Lipsy out there. You're going to have Jefferson out there. Those two guys have a ton of experience. They've played against big teams before, gone to these big environments. Momcilovic is a junior. He's done this enough. Buchanan's played in the ACC. He's played at the Dukes. He's played at the North Carolinas. He has seen this environment like this as well. Okay? You got Heisey coming off the bench. Heisey's done this. He's a senior. And so, you've got these guys on this team that are experienced, and can kind of help, your younger guys out a little bit. And, if Torrey's the guy that we all want him to be, then we're going to have to, he's going to have to win games like these and perform in games like these. So I think that's one of the big things for tonight is that. But we're 16-0, ranked number 2 in the country.
We are.
And a lot of good things have happened to Iowa State. But this is going to be the first game in really a month that we've had to play probably an actually competitive basketball game.
Yeah.
I hope it's not competitive. I hope we can go down there and do what we got to do.
Hope we do what we did to Purdue. I hope that really happens. At the end of the day, we'll just see what happens. Oklahoma State was was a little bit competitive.
But then again, I mean, the first, like we were saying, it's like we're going to, against teams like that, we're going to go on a 15-0 run. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
When we're down, 10 points to those, 8 points to those teams. Tonight, that's going to matter.
Yeah.
If you go down 10 against Kansas, that's like going down 15 against Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
That's
going to be
a hard hole to climb out of.
I think if we can at least hold our own till halftime, I'm confident with our second half performances. Where if we get down at a certain level, obviously if we're down 20 at half, which I hope doesn't happen at all, then different story. But if we're down, a few, or if we're up by a few, I have confidence going into that half that we can go on a run in that second half.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And we haven't had to play a competitive game since the Iowa game.
Yeah.
And that was about a month ago. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting. So, in full closure, we're doing this before the Kansas game, just so everybody knows. So by the time you hear this, the Kansas game will already happen. We'll either sound really smart or we'll sound like idiots.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I guess you guys will hear next week on our talk about that.
So, that's kind of all we have for Iowa State basketball, just because things are going to keep updating so much. But everybody knows 16-0, number 2 in the country. It's a really fun time. To be an Iowa State basketball fan. We're seeing things that we haven't ever seen before at Iowa State basketball, so enjoy it while we have it.
Yeah.
So,
and it was my first time at Hilton for a men's college basketball game.
Yeah.
This past weekend, it was my birthday. My fiance got us some tickets for that, so that was a very fun time.
Yeah.
The Sunday before we went to Baylor, we went to Hilton for the Iowa State Baylor women's game.
Yep.
I was nervous because we lost that game. It was my first time at Hilton ever.
Yeah, that one was basically your fault.
Yeah, I was really nervous. We have another game. We're going up to the Colorado game in Hilton. That'll be I was really nervous that if we lost this Oklahoma State game, that I would not be going to the Colorado game.
Yeah, I wouldn't let you back in that building ever again.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens tonight, and I hopefully, we pull out a win. If we don't, I'm not super worried, but we'll see how we play.
Absolutely. So, all right, that kind of wraps up the basketball talk. Now we'll kind of get into some NFL. Wild card weekend has come and gone officially now, and it was a really good wild card weekend.
It was.
I don't know how long it's been since we've had games like that were that competitive. I don't know how long ago it was, but it's been a while.
It has been a while.
I mean, all those games were really good except for the last two. But majority of those games were really good. By the last two is the Broncos, or not the Broncos, sorry, the Chargers and the Patriots. That game was
a very
like
boring
watching
game.
paint dry.
Yep.
And then last night was like watching paint dry until Aaron Rodgers started turning the ball over, and then there was some action. But
I think he started to get some arthritis in that hand.
Yeah. So other than that, they were really good. And then, if you had to take a guess right now, Joe, who do you think is going to the Super Bowl?
That's really tough, honestly. I would say right now, my viewpoints would probably be the LA Rams coming out of the NFC. And then I would probably, my heart says the Buffalo Bills in the AFC. Just because Josh Allen really has no excuses this year. He has no Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson.
He's just got Bo Nix and Drake May.
And both are very young, very inexperienced quarterbacks.
And C.J.
Stroud, another inexperienced quarterback. The toughest thing with the Bills, the Texans, they have a tough defense. One of the best defenses in the league. Their offense, but their defense is incredible. And the Bills are kind of the opposite. Their defense is but their offense is incredible. But the last time they played, Texans overran them. So, it'll be interesting to see. I think the Bills go up against the Patriots next.
Yep.
And then the Broncos play the Texans.
No, it's Broncos-Bills.
Is it Broncos-Bills? Okay.
Yeah, Texans-Patriots.
Texans-Patriots. That'll be interesting to see. It'll be very tough for both teams. Broncos' defense is elite. Their offense is but their defense is incredible. So I'll be interested to see what happens. But, yeah, that's my pick. The Bills out of the AFC and the Rams out of the NFC. How about you, though, Nate?
Mine are the exact same, too. I'm going with the Rams just because I think they're still sneaky good. Not a lot of people are talking about them right now, which I think is right where they want to be. Everybody right now is talking about the Seahawks and the Bears. I think the Bears are fraudulent. I think they're going to get beat by L.A. at home. And then Brock Purdy's 4-0 in Seattle. Not a lot of people are giving the 49ers much of a chance here. And usually when you don't give somebody much of a chance, that's when you get beat. So watch for the 49ers. They could get that one.
They could.
I still think either way the Rams beat either of those two teams.
I think so, too. I think in general, I think the Seahawks would give them a better matchup against the Rams. But it's Sam Darnold. We don't know what's going to happen.
Playoff Sam Darnold last year was really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
I don't know if it's going to convert to this year, too.
I mean, the Lions, put him back to factory mode.
Yeah.
They preset him back to factory mode. He went, straight back to being a free agent quarterback.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with him. I don't know if he's going to play like he did last year or if he's going to show up. If he shows up, 49ers are going to have some trouble. If he goes back to what he was, then 49ers, Rams could be in that NFC Championship game.
Just in the NFC, I'm going to give my nod to the most experienced quarterback out of the bunch. I think that's always a good idea, and that's why I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford and the Rams.
He's got an elite squad.
And then it's kind of my other same thought on the other side. You go with the most experienced quarterback. Josh Allen's wanted this for a long time. He's talked about it for a long time. Now it's time for him to put his money where his mouth is. He was the MVP last year. It's time for you to prove. Now you've got three young guys standing in your way. You're the oldest guy in there all of a sudden now. And So now you have to go do it. I think it's just scripted out way too well for him not to make the Super Bowl.
I agree.
I think, and I think if they miss the Super Bowl this year, I think head coach is probably fired. I think Sean McDermott's probably out, and I think there's probably changes coming to Buffalo if they don't make it this year.
I think so too.
I think that's a hotter seat than what people realize.
If you look at it, I mean, he's had Mahomes and Lamar and however many people in his way the last however many years. It's mainly been Mahomes.
Yep. It has been Mahomes pretty much solding himself.
And every year I feel like he's gotten closer and closer and closer. And last year was the closest he's ever gotten. And I think this year is his real shot. And, you know, I enjoy seeing these moments where there's a whole new Super Bowl. You know, Chiefs aren't going to be in it. Eagles aren't going to be in it. You know, it'll be interesting to see. I honestly, no matter which of these teams wins, I'm happy for them. Am I upset my Steelers lost?
The only one I would be upset is the Seahawks. I don't want the Seahawks to win.
Yeah, because you're a Cardinals fan.
Yeah, well, and I have to cheer for the Rams and the Niners then. I'm also a Cardinals fan, but I'd rather see either of those two teams win than the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I would actually rather see San Francisco win out of any of them, but being realistic, I think I'm going to ride with Stafford.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot harder for San Francisco since they don't have Kittle now with his Achilles injury.
They did open up the practice window today for Fred Warner.
Did they? That's good.
He was injured October 12th. They probably not going to be back for Saturday night, but if they win that game, if San Francisco beats the Seahawks somehow, it sounds like there's probably a really good possibility he's back for the game after that, and then the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
football's coming to an end. It's
a fast
there.
end.
It is.
It came to an end today for a long-time coach, and I think shocking news. I don't really think anybody saw it coming, and that's Mike Tomlin is out as the Steelers head coach after 19 years. He decided himself to step down. Just totally speculating here. I know nothing. Maybe it's totally false, but just speculating. I still think deep down that there was probably a chance he was going to be fired. And the Steelers organization probably did him a solid by, letting him, step down on his own before getting fired. And I do think that had something to do with it. I think there was probably rumblings that he was going to be fired and, he steps down. Otherwise, I don't think he does step down. But, he's out. Steelers are going to be moving on, which probably means that the Steelers are also going to be looking for another quarterback next year other than Aaron Rodgers. There is a chance that Aaron Rodgers probably can come back next year, if they get a coach, that wants him there. But him and Tomlin kind of had a thing, and Tomlin's gone now, so you would like to think that probably means that Aaron Rodgers is also on his way out as well. And it was just kind of shocking that happened today. Joe, you're a Steelers fan, I guess. How do you feel about the Tomlin situation?
Obviously, a part of me is sad because he's been with us for 19 seasons. He's never had a losing season. He took us to a Super Bowl, got us a Super Bowl, and he's done a lot for the organization, and I'm very happy that he was our coach. I think it was just about time for a change. Obviously, we've gone, I think now this is 8 seasons without a playoff win, and something has to change. Do I think Tomlin was the reason? No. But do I think that
he enabled it?
Do I think he enabled it? Possibly. He's a very good coach. I believe he could be a very good offensive coordinator. I believe he's very old school when it comes to running a team, and we have the highest paid defense in the league, and they don't perform as the best defense in the league. They perform very well, but they don't perform the best. And I think we need a fresh guy in there. And I personally think we need a different offensive coordinator. Our offense has not been great for years. We also need some different offensive pieces in there. I really like the addition of Gainwell this season. He has been the saving grace for our team. If we did not have Gainwell, we probably would have had a losing season. I will say that. The one reason I am kind of glad Tomlin is gone too is because I believe he is the reason why we had Aaron Rodgers. And I said from the start I did not want Aaron Rodgers. And I might be in the minority as a Steelers fan in this situation, but he has not looked great all year. Has he had moments where he's looked good? Yes. But he has not looked great all year.
He hasn't consistently done it.
No, he has not consistently done it. And I think a lot of people started to realize that with the playoff game. And
well, he too is now 0-7 in his last 7 playoff games.
Yeah, he is. I really hope he doesn't come back. I think we need a different quarterback in there. Probably get one through free agency. I hope and we'll see what happens. Who's out there, what's available. If we end up trading for one, whatever it is. I also think we need another weapon out there offensively. Gainwell's a good one. And we have Warren too. If we need to throw, honestly, I think if we were to make any trade moves and they want some decent pieces, I would throw Warren in there personally. I think Gainwell looked a lot better than Warren.
You guys can beg for George Pickens back from the Cowboys.
I would love that, honestly. I did not want to get rid of him in the first place. Yes, he had attitude issues, but we also got Jalen Ramsey this year, and George Pickens has not had as many outbursts as that guy this year. And DK Metcalf. Let's throw that out.
I mean, DK Metcalf hit somebody in the face and got suspended for it.
Yeah, exactly. He hit a fan. So I really hope we can get somebody out there. Calvin Austin's okay. Scantling's okay. DK Metcalf's even just okay. He's not what people hype him up to be. I think our tight ends are amazing. Freiermuth and Washington, I think they're absolute beasts. The one thing I did like about Rodgers was he used Darnell Washington a lot more than previous quarterbacks. So I like that they kind of brought his talent up and showed what he can do. So I like that aspect, but we just need some different pieces. Hopefully we get a new head coach, new offensive coordinator, hopefully, and get something else going. Even if we have a losing season next year, I think that's a step in the right direction. I think a lot of fans don't want that, but at the same time, sometimes you got to knock some bricks down to build them back up again.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what they're going to have to do now is, start over.
Rebuild a little bit.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what route the new coach goes, whether they're going to go into full rebuild mode or whether they're going to try to piece this thing along. Inevitably, I think the rebuild is coming.
I think so.
For Pittsburgh, it's just how far do you want to keep kicking the can down the road?
I think that, our defense, we have some good pieces on there, but they're older.
Yeah, you're going to have to free up some cap space there.
Cam Hayward's old.
Defense.
TJ Watt's getting older. He's not. I think he's starting to depreciate a little bit. I don't think he's not in his prime anymore. I think last year was probably his last year in his prime. This year he depreciated a little bit. I think there's some other defensive guys that, could be replaced or moved. But that's the one thing. If we want to build a good team, we need a good all-around team. And we need a different offense in there. And to do that, to free up some cap space, you got to make some room on your defense. I think we have some really good young guys, especially rookies, that have done pretty well this year. And I think sometimes you got to get rid of some of your veteran guys that, you might really like on that team, but they just might not be necessities in the long run. So we'll see what happens, and go from there.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what Tomlin does. Now, it'll be interesting to see if he, is going to sit out a year, or if he wants to continue coaching right away, or if he's interested in taking a coordinator job. It'll kind of be interesting to see which route he wants to go. I know Harbaugh sounds like he's going to get right back in it. He kind of took some time after he got fired, and now he's scheduling interviews. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens with Tom. It'll be interesting to see what route he wants to go with all of that as well. So, it'll just be interesting. The Cardinals obviously fired their head coach, Jonathan Gannon. I guess I don't really know what to say about it. I mean, I personally thought they should have gave him one more season, and he would have to get new coordinators, but just didn't seem to work out that way, and the Cardinals felt better moving on from that situation. So once again, it's another coach that you hire and you miss on, which at some point someone's got to be held accountable for this, and it starts with your GM. He is now solely going to go out and find the new next head coach. And, hopefully it works out. But, you've seen him hire one coach once now, and he's been fired. I guess I don't know how much faith to put in him and finding another one. So I hope it's somebody new, like a new face in the league, not a coach that used to be a head coach that's a coordinator now. He's going to try to be a head coach again. That doesn't really ever seem to work out, ever. So I hope it's just somebody new that they bring in, never been a head coach before, and, go that route like we did with Gannon. It just didn't work out like, they had hoped. But, that's basically all I got.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. We're both in kind of the same boat this year.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. And always, we haven't done this yet, but brought to you by our sponsors.
Yeah, we got to shout out our sponsor.
Just Toast. Best toast in the country.
Yep. Earl's Doghouse.
Earl's Doghouse. Good beer, great fun.
Yep.
I'm hoping the live event Nate's talking about, we hope to do one out there soon.
Yeah, we're trying to work it out with Earl's right now.
We are.
It sounds like they want this to happen. The owners at Earl's would like this to happen. Earl himself really wants this to go down. Yeah. So we're just trying to figure out, when would be a best time to do that and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're talking about it being a live event, which we have never done. We would have to get a camera.
That could be our potentially first
microphones and stuff like that.
That could be our first potential video podcast. They'd get us see our lovely faces.
Yeah, and so there is an opportunity that could happen out at Earl's Doghouse. I know they're excited about that happening. So we will see what happens with that. We're going to try to keep working on that and see whatever comes of that. So shout out to Earl's Doghouse. Earl's doing well. It's been a while since I've seen him, but I was there a couple weeks ago over the holidays, and he was doing good. And he's really glad we stopped talking about his butt tumors.
Yeah.
He got to the point where if we brought up, talking about his butt tumors ever again,
he
was going to pull our sponsor.
Yeah, he was going to pull it, but
we're good now, though. He's good.
Earl's Doghouse did get a new addition. They now have an arcade machine.
Yeah, they have a Pac-Man machine, and they have bathrooms inside now.
Yeah.
You used to have to go to the bathroom outside. You can go to the bathroom inside now, and it's actually heated. It's nice.
It is pretty nice. So, very big improvements.
Yeah, you don't have to wipe your butt with leaves anymore.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't gotta have toilet paper.
You don't got to drag your butt in the grass.
Yeah, you don't have to go outside with Earl and go potty anymore.
Exactly, and Earl likes to stare.
Yeah, Earl likes to check out what you got going on. So
I do have the high score on that Pac-Man machine. So
and one of them,
yeah, one of them. But yeah, and then our last sponsor, Nate and Maddie Can Boxes.
Yeah, actually got the can box finished.
We finally got it done.
The first one ever.
First one only took
like 8 months.
Yeah, only took that amount of time. hopefully maybe you guys will get to see it sometime.
Yeah.
But,
maybe if we do our live, we'll have to have the can box in the background.
It'll be interesting with this live episode if we end up doing that. Hopefully, if we do it, I'm hoping maybe like a summer, maybe late spring, summer type of thing.
Well, I think they're thinking sometime soon, so we'll have to. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, we might have to save up for a camera.
We could do more than one live.
We could.
So,
we could.
Yeah,
we could start off a trial one. We'll see. But at the end of the day, we're just trying to keep the podcast growing. Keep you guys informed. We enjoy doing this. We hope you guys enjoy it just as much as we do. And I think that's all we have for this week, right?
Yep. Subscribe.
Yep. Subscribe, like, comment. Let us know what you guys want us to talk about next time, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks to all the listeners.
Thank you.